This is offering our music at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. Yamuna felt that perhaps Srila Prabhupada had chosen the 6 of them for the London Yatra because they had known each other for a long time and worked well together. Once she was asked to give brief, succinct descriptions of each of the 6 of them. She described Mukunda as the mimic of the group, a person who could change to fit any occasion or need instantly. He was also a good organizer. Janaki was plain-spoken and loving, not afraid to express herself. She was often sardonically humorous and naturally generous. Shamsundar was the idealist of the group, always presenting grand plans and ever-present chuckle of visionary. And Malati was wry, daring, and possessed of a piercing wit. Yamuna's husband, Gurudas, was affable, outgoing, and up for anything. She described herself with her usual humility as a stranger in a strange land. And yet somehow they all coalesced in their desire to please Srila Prabhupada and were determined and united in their efforts. By October, the 6 devotees were chanting at various venues, including the Hindu Centre and a hub of the alternative London scene known as the Arts Lab. They used these venues for practicing their kirtans, including Chintamani, Govindam prayers from the Brahma Samhita. Each Wednesday and Friday night they chanted at the Arts Lab, with Yamuna in her usual exuberant manner exhorting the audience to chant by raising her arms and shouting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. I am pleased to learn that you are singing the Chintamani prayers of Brahma Samhita. This Brahma Samhita contains the highest of all spiritual knowledge. In lecturing too, if we sing a verse from Brahma Samhita and then nicely explain the meaning, it will be very much appreciated. Just as Krishna is the all-attractive principle, so similarly, these Krishna kathas of the Brahma Samhita are all-attractive and will gain favorable attention from listeners. Also, your description of progress in kirtan performance with Gurudas playing sitar and Mukunda playing, I think it's Koli. Kol. Okay, Mridanga. Is encouraging. Practically, we see that we sincerely try to improve our chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna reciprocates, and we feel our greatest pleasure, which is devotional service to the Lord. So you may continue with this method. It is very nice and approved by me. That's a letter from Srila Prabhupada to Shamsundar, November 24th, 1968. Although they had an immediate impact and were encouraged by the response, they all faced major challenges in finding living arrangements. After Herne Hill, they were forced to live separately in what Yamuna called ghettos. Each couple struggled in separate accommodation until they were temporarily brought together again in a rent-free 4-story warehouse on Betterton Street. On the positive side, they were all in the same location and had free accommodation. On the negative side, there were no showers, only cold water, and no heat except space heaters. Still, they soldiered on, and Srila Prabhupada wrote often, encouraging and nurturing them. Each of his letters was eagerly shared among them, a perpetual reservoir of hope and strength. Of them all, Janaki was feeling especially lonely and disaffected. She wrote of this to Srila Prabhupada, and typically he encouraged each of them in his reply. I think also that it is a good sign that Krishna is delaying to give us a nice London temple, because when it finally will come, it may be the most ideal temple for our purposes. So none of you be discouraged, but go on with your engagements and everything will come automatically. Very nice. I have noted that you describe yourself, as being just a lump of ignorance. Actually, the devotee should always think like that. That the devotee should feel himself so lowly is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also represented himself as a very foolish disciple, even though he proved himself as the greatest scholar and was actually Krishna himself. So one who feels humble and meek has the door for the kingdom of God open for him or her. So thank you again for your nice letter, and please continue to inform me of your well-being. That's from a letter to Janaki dated 9th of December 1968. He was the supreme encourager. If I think of myself in relation to cooking, or if you see yourself in relationship to those that you value the most in devotional service, there are people that generously encourage you and see whatever strengths you have. So Srila Prabhupada was so brilliant at this, at understanding our minds and our needs. And when you just look at his letters and see how he wrote so much encouragement to give us some very big, challenging thing to do, and then more or less say, you can do this. So in that way, I think that the spirit of creativity, that we had no idea what we were doing, but let's do something right, and just come up with it. And that was all because of Srila Prabhupada's encouragement.
For that nice reading, Shri. So now it's social time. You got half an hour to shoot the breeze, have a drink of water, stretch your legs, and then we'll come together and we'll have an arti and Pushpanjali to Srila Prabhupada at quarter to 5. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We're going to have a kirtan now and an offering arti to Srila Prabhupada. So get your dancing shoes on and tune up your voices. So the arti to Prabhupada and the Pushpanjali. So everyone can offer some flowers to Prabhupada. So if everybody either wants to sit down or come forward and gather around Prabhupada's murti down here. Please, thank you.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Krishna Prasthaya Vikale Srimate Vedanta Swami Saraswati Gaurapani Prachari Nirisesha Shiyamati Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
great late Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Buddhaka Jai Sakata Chief Many Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada ki Jai. Kota Vaishnavinda ki Jai.